What's up, everybody? Today, you will not see my face really because of two reasons. One, I want you to concentrate on what I am saying, and also, I want to be able to concentrate and not worry about the camera because this is a very important discussion that we must have in the Black community. Guess what, y'all? Little girls aren't the only ones being touched up on. Our boys are being touched up on too. And out of the litany of conversations to be held today, and out of the abundance of understanding that is needed to be had, and out of the overabundance of compassion we must have for one another, we must begin to understand that we are interconnected because what goes on with your brother and sister, it affects you on a soul level and on a physical or natural level. Little girls are not the only ones getting touched up on. Our boys are too. I would like to point out the fact that we live in a world that everybody is so afraid to speak their mind. We're trying to come up out of it, right? We're trying to get out of that politically correct chokehold. The chokehold that's got us almost delusional to the point where we will accept anything. Now, I am not negating anyone's story or anyone's experiences or viewpoints. They are all entitled to them, but that does not mean that it works for everybody. And that's where we have to begin to understand and accept. We have to understand our differences, accept them or don't. Not ostracize or offend, but be compassionate. But you do have a right to who you allow within your space. Little girls are not the only ones getting touched up on. And see, we live in a world where men can't even compliment another man, cannot even acknowledge that another man is attractive without saying pause, no homo, or all type of disclaimers that would signify that he is not gay. Are we that immature? Are we this hyper vigilant? Are we this sensitive? Have we become this ignorant and dismissive and patronizing? Little girls are not the only ones getting touched. We live in a world where women want strong men, but we also want them to be our girlfriends. We want strong men, but we do not allow them to feel vulnerable and to feel safe with expressing the things that have happened to them. Again, I bring to you, I say to you, I present to you, little girls are not the only ones being touched. And the sad part about it is, there's people in our family. You got people pillow talking about the ones that are doing the touching. It's hush hush at night. We can't bring it up at the dinner, the Thanksgiving dinners, or any family dinner. We can't bring it up because it's not the appropriate time. It's not the appropriate time because we've got things to do. It's not the appropriate time for this reason and that reason. But what is the real reason other than we do not want to take accountability or chastise those who are inflicting their neglected sickness? And I say neglected because somebody touched them and it was not addressed. We don't want to face it. So it's never the appropriate time. When is it the appropriate time to talk about this? Because little girls are not the only ones getting touched. Again, let me bring your attention to the fact that men have to say so many disclaimers like no homo, cause. To me, that is a defense mechanism in the comment section that acknowledges the fact that little girls are not the only ones being touched. We need a community. We need to wake up. But first, we need to open our mouths and say what needs to be said. And we need to open our ears and hear what needs to be heard. Because little girls are not the only ones being touched. Now, I have a story for you. I know somebody that had a child. And the child was totally dependent on their mother. Now, that wasn't the only support, but when we're talking about the nuclear family, this wasn't a thing in this instance. So the child was solely reliant on the mother, and anything that came thereafter was a blessing, and it was extra because the nuclear family didn't exist. So this mother, even though this mother wasn't ready to be one, took on the job. One thing about this mother I can honestly say about her is when she takes on a job, she puts her attention towards it and she takes it seriously. Well, this mother had to provide for this child, did she not? The child had to eat, it needed clothing, it needed shelter. Despite anything else that was going on in the world, this is what the child needed. So the mother needed someone to care for their child while she worked to provide what the child needed. But what the mother did not know was once she found the caregiver, and the caregiver began to care for the child, and mind you, the caregiver is not the perpetrator in the story, nor do I believe, for what she told me, that the caregiver even knows. We both thought about it, we both talked about it, and we pondered on it, me and this young lady, and we agreed the caregiver probably had no idea. But the caregiver had other family over. Now, often when we think about abuse of this nature, sexual abuse, molestation, SA, we think about the uncle, don't we? It's always that creepy uncle. Because God forbid that men aren't the only ones doing the touching. Oh, wow. But in this instance, it wasn't a man. And it wasn't a woman. But it was a child. So as the mother is away working and working hard to make a living for the child that she brought into the world that only had her to depend on, and within her good intention and by the sweat of her brow, she was making a living for that child and needed someone to care for that child. And as she's away at work, there is another child that's in the care of the caregiver along with my child or her child. I'm taking this personal now. Got too deep. But I am my sister's keeper, am I not? I am. Because I have a child. 3 to be exact. And there will be plenty of stories on them. But not today. So the child was being taken advantage of by another child. And the interesting fact was, what really blew my mind about the story is that this young lady found out in her child's home. Now, can you imagine that? I think it's safe to say that most of us, I know I will kick in the door waving the 4-4 for our children, right? But what happens when the parent finds out super late? Now, I'll leave that right there. So let me bring it home. If a child is abusing another child, then someone was abusing that child. Can we both agree on that? Or can we all agree? They had to be abusing that child. Who's abusing the child? But see, here's the problem. Had there not been an issue where it's not the appropriate time, or had there not been an issue as I don't want to talk about it, had there not been an issue of delusion and denial, maybe the person would have got help or separated from others that it would infect with the virus that it was infected with, that was not cured by not being addressed, because it's been going on down the line. These are things that are passed through generations. Or maybe something on the outside tagged they have assaulted your family member, and then they begin to pass it on to the people that they feel comfortable with. Loved ones, family members, friends, kids. We got to talk about it. But this woman has a son, her only child. I got 3 myself. A parent has one job to do, and that's to ensure the safety of their children. But it's kind of hard when there's other people working in the background, lying and hiding and covering, and it's never a good time to talk about it. And they're stereotyping, and then you've got women that won't allow the men that have been hurt be transparent because they're afraid of being looked at as anything less than the man that they are. So they walk around wounded and lashing out, and they're saying stupid shit like no homo, I'm not a Fruit Loop, or whatever the hell they want to call themselves. It's not necessary. We as adults, we as human beings, we should be able to compliment each other and see that we are attractive for one another. That shouldn't be an issue. But when you live in a world where we can't talk about nothing, and we need to talk about everything, and everybody's uncomfortable and sensitive, what the fuck do we do? Little girls are not the only ones getting touched. Men are not the only ones, though, doing the touching of the little girls or the little boys. It's women that are perverts, too. Can we talk about it? Oh, somebody's got a nasty auntie in here. Somebody's got a nasty cousin in here. And then when somebody tried to tell you, you got mad. Oh, that's not true. You just mad. No, your relative is ill. Your relative has a virus. We was running around with chickens with our head cut off at least a good year, but we'll say 2. We'll even say up to today, because I still see people with their mask on. Y'all are nightmare to death by the coronavirus, but yet you not nightmare to death about the sick individuals in your family touching motherfuckers they ain't got no business touching. Your mama told you it was a private part. You know why? Because it's private. It's for you, and it's for whoever you give consent to take pleasure in. It's not for people to come take and pilgrimage and violate. I think pilgrimage was the wrong word. But you get what I'm saying? That's not what it was about. When are you going to get up off your ass and tell your sister, tell your auntie, tell your granddaddy, tell your uncle, tell your daddy, tell your sons, tell whoever, the cousins, whoever, female and male, when you going to confront them about the touching that they've been doing? Because while your mouth is shut, while you refuse to snitch, while you refuse to turn these sick motherfuckers in, they are hurting people. That's right. You worried about your ego. You worried about what things look like. You wonder what would people say? Well, what are people saying that you're not doing shit about it? Have you considered that? Oh no. Because that's where the stinking thinking comes in. And you get to thinking fucked up, and you get to fucking up. Little girls aren't the only ones getting touched. And men ain't the only ones doing the touching. I'll leave that there for now. You know what? Let me just say this, though, before I go on to the next topic. I'm asking the ladies, we need to have a conversation with our men. And men, you need to have a conversation with your women, not about no dumb shit, and not to come to go back and forth. We don't need to go back and forth with no motherfucking body. This is not the time for that. We are experts in going back and forth. Listen, we go back and forth and die about dumb stuff. If we gonna lay our lives on the line, it got to be for a real change and a real cause. But that ain't never the case. We always laying our life on the line for some bullshit. Because when are we going to admit we don't want to do what it takes? We like to party. I love to party. I'm partying just with you. Baby, I'm ready to, any and every time. I'm a party all the time. In my spirit. I don't do it all the time because I got responsibility. But when I tell you my spirit wakes up in the party and I go to sleep in the party, I was born like that. I am always partying. I like to party all the time, party all the time. What's, I might be young, but I'm ready. What's that song? Party, because we like to party. Love it. But we can't party ourselves out of reality. Alcohol ain't fixing this. Drugs ain't fixing this. They've been band-aids. People are losing their life because they have nobody to talk to. There is no safe space. Everywhere we turn, it's someone waving a finger at us. It's some sort of judgment. There's no compassion. And we are some of the most religious people. This is how you know it don't work, because we ain't got it right yet. This is why religion is divisive, because it's not about religion, it's about relationship. And you cannot have a relationship with God if you refuse to have a relationship with your brother and sister that you are directly interconnected with, just like you are God. So if you can deny and denounce your brother and your sister, if you cannot be your brother's and your sister's keeper, then you are not the keeper of source energy. We got to have a conversation, and we have to be willing to have that conversation. And someone's going to have to shut the fuck up and listen while somebody else talks. It's a lady, she's on this podcast. I can't think of her name at the moment, but I'm sure you guys seen her video going around, and she was talking about, she was saying a lot of stuff, some wild stuff. And I won't say that it didn't have some validity. I'm going to give one of the most outrageous things that I've heard that will grab you guys' attention, so you know who I'm talking about. She said to the fact that as a woman, and I'm not quoting her directly, I'm quoting her from my memory and the message, the overall statement she was trying to convey. Basically, women have birthed men. Men have come into this world through our wombs. So why should we submit to a man? Now, I'm not talking about none of that shit today. That was just something for you to know what the hell I am talking about. But one thing she said that I think is important to talk about and note, she said that men know how we think. And you know why they know how we think and how we move? Because men are predators. And not the predator that you won't address that's in your kid's pants. I'm not talking about that type of predator. I'm saying that the man is a hunter and we are the prey. Unless they're into some other dynamic, which is okay. But we're talking about what we're talking about. We're keeping it black and white and leaving the colors for another day. You feel me? So, you know, a lion cannot catch its meal or its prey if it doesn't know how to go about catching it. It has to study it. So they study us so they can get us, you know. And then we know how they know how we think, but we don't know how men think. This is what she's saying. And she's absolutely right. And when men try to tell us how they think, we don't want to believe what they're saying. We hear them through the filter of our understanding, and we project on them our wishes and desires for what we want them to be. And they're telling you just as straight face, ma'am, this is who I am. We don't believe them. Women, I need you to start believing men and what they're telling you. This is not a male bashing post. This is not a male bashing soundtrack or whatever you want to call it, audio track. What it is what I'm telling you. So don't try to take it anywhere else. As you listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, I need you to take them as they are being said. Not how your mind wants to run rampant and create a problem that we're not creating today. I need you to stay focused, okay? I will give myself as an example. My husband and I were talking about something, and he said, you know what, Racquel? I noticed that when I say things to you, you get on the defense sometimes. And I'm not trying to offend you. I'm not against you. I'm on your side. We're playing for the same team. I'm just simply telling you what it is. So, within reason, being reasonable, and taking my emotions out of it, I see exactly what he's saying. Because even though I can be on the side of logic, I'm still a woman. And I still, you know, that brain be like, you know, we be calculating shit that don't even need to be calculated and carrying the two with the shit. You know what I'm saying? And it don't be calling for all that. He said what the fuck he said. This is not Chinese arithmetic. He just said what the fuck he said. But you know what? We want to hear what the fuck we want to hear. Gotta stop that. Because you can't get nowhere with that. If you want to be able to have a successful relationship, and those who don't, oh, I don't need no man. I'm not talking to you. And if you don't need no man or you don't want any man, that is fine. You are well within your rights. And I want to give you an applause. Because at least one thing I could say is you know what you want and do not want. And that's half of the battle. Because a lot of people don't know what the fuck they want. So let's clap it up for knowing what you want. If you want to get along with a man, then you're going to have to understand his language. I mean, hell, at least learn how to translate, baby. We listen to men from our distortion of desire. We need to take their word for it. We need to take their word for it. Take their word for what they're saying to be true, and not what we believe is true. We'll get so much further. I'm telling you. People, we gotta learn how to get along. And I will even go as far as to say that maybe everything evolves, right? And I will say we can at least argue that the marriage license was brought into by man. That's an institution. That was something that came over time. So maybe relationships as we know it is evolving. Maybe we are beginning to take the powers that be out of our relationships. But however we evolve, it should be to our betterment, not to our deficit. If it's not toward our betterment, then that's not going to work. Now, true enough, there will always be polarity at play. You know, there's duality. That's how we're able to measure things by its opposite. You can't measure anything with if it doesn't have an opposite. The opposition is what puts things into perspective. But we're going to have to stop all of this bickering and bantering. Listen, there's going to be people that are married and love to be married, and there's going to be people that love to be single. There's going to be people that want to have children, and there's going to be people who wouldn't dare think of having one. There's going to be people that like the opposite sex. There's going to be people that like the same sex. There's going to be hoes. There's going to be whores. There's going to be prostitutes. Because life, if we all became like Doug, if everybody looked like Where's Waldo, then life would end. There would be no point. We don't need to experience the same thing over and over. So you got to respect there's going to be some differences. But whatever the fuck these differences are, let them be decent and in order. And let us respect one another and take things for what they are. There's too much judgment and distortment and delusion that gets in the way of us being cohesive. Walking life is exhausting when you do it alone. But when we do it together with love and understanding, we can go far. No one's going to come and save you. You have to be assertive, purposeful, intentful, and persistent and save your damn self. You must be the keeper of your house first and extend grace to the house of others. We got to get this right, people. And we will. We will. I see my brothers and sisters waking up every day. I see the profound and prolific things that's going on. And I want to dedicate this whole fucking live to my girl Melinda Howell. That's right. I want to give it to her because we had an excellent conversation today. Baby, we went in. I'm a Leo. She's an Aquarius. She is the direct opposite of me on the zodiac sign. We are like polarity within itself. And we had an amazing conversation. I said, girl, you are giving me some things that I want to expound on and talk about today live. And so I am here talking about it. I gave you a story about this young lady I know that has one child. And she found out through her child's phone he had been violated by another child. And years had went by. We got to get our people in order. I ask that you please share this with somebody, anybody. Please don't leave without liking it. I want to say thank you for listening. And you know what? I almost forgot before I get out of here. Men, you need to acknowledge the woman you're being shown and not who you desire. Stop trying to make the girl that's on the pole that want to stay on the pole a housemaker. Stop trying to make the housemaker the woman that's on the pole. Get you what the hell you want. Stop trying to mold and fold and fix a motherfucker. And women, stop doing that bullshit too. Know what you want and go after it. But stop going around fucking with people and trying to make them be who you want them to be. That goes for both men and women. It's tired. Stop it. And I don't understand. And you ain't got to understand. What you got to do is get the fuck on to find somebody who aligns with what you want. Because the mere fact you don't understand me, you don't need to motherfucking be here. Because the person that need to be here can understand. They don't have to agree, but they understand. I don't necessarily agree with the lifestyle. I understand. But as long as you can, be respectful of me. Why are we doing that? Was she boring? Motherfucker, she been boring. You married her boring ass. What did you want? If you really wanted a freak, you would have got one. No, you married somebody that's boring so you can have an excuse to not do what the fuck you supposed to do and go cheat with someone you would say that is not as boring, that is fun. That's what the fuck is really going on. Because I'm going to tell you, the girl that's fun, you can't handle her no way. So you trying to play double worlds and shit. Stop playing. You lying to yourself, brother. Ma'am, you met this man working at Checkers. And you talking about you want to stay home while he paid for the kids? That don't make no sense. That sound like you want to have a job too. That sound like you want 50-50. Y'all act a damn fool. This woman ain't never had a job in her life, and you mad she won't get one. She didn't have a motherfucking job before she met your ass. Why she gonna get a job now? Why? Huh? He was towed up when you met him. But you sit up and you want Dr. Umar Johnson? Well, you should have got with someone like Dr. Umar. Y'all trying to get, oh Lord, y'all trying to turn Kodak Black into Dr. Umar. And when I say Kodak Black, I use that as a symbolism. I don't know who that man is as outside of his character that he plays. I'm just using his name, his presence as an example. It don't make any sense. So, this is just some things to think about. But don't leave this damn channel without liking this video. Don't you do that. Don't you leave this damn channel without liking this video. I'm going to see y'all later. I am. Hold on. Here we about to go. Hey. Oh. Hey. Oh. Oh. My ass is crazy. Matter of fact, let me throw my outro, my intro that I didn't. Thank you for choosing Racqi World TV, a channel where the viewer is spiritual royalty.
Here on Rocky Road TV, you and I laugh, learn, brainstorm, and expand our consciousness together. My name is Racquel, your earthly spirit guide and spiritual alchemist. Please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. If you clicked on this video, it was meant for you, so stick around. Thank you.